Right, good evening. Welcome to the 12-man podcast live on Facebook. All good places to listen to your podcast. I was going to say listen to your Spotify, but that made no sense. Spotify, Amazon, all them places. Come be Steve Jackson. I'm your host for the evening. No John Donovan. He's actually at the football club tonight. He's not trying to get business. So he's passed his comments on, so we'll go through them as the night goes on. But we have got Mr. Jamie Dalgarno with us. Evening, Dally.
Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You?
Yes, well, yeah. I'm all right myself, but it's the football club that do your head in, isn't it?
Well, we'll go through that because, as you know, we like to give both perspectives on here. We're not just all one-sided. We're not just all, we say it as it is. So we brought the other side on. He's been on before. He's been asked to come back as well. So, Mr. Jacob Jervis is with us. You and Jay, you all right?
Evening, you all right?
Good. You ready for this?
Ready as ever.
Yeah. You can probably guess. If you know Jacob, you know exactly which side of the fence he's on with all this debate that's going on. But, right. First thing I will say before we start, us for the 12th man would like to say deepest condolences to the fan that lost his life and his family and friends at Portsmouth on Saturday. I know we'll go through the game and go through what happened, but yeah, it was a bit of a shock being stood in the stand watching that unfold for half an hour. So and then to hear when we got back to Winchester, he passed away. So yeah, no fan should go to football and never come home. So yeah, awful news. Sorry to start on a downer, but it has to be done. So I'll start with you, Jacob, because we made the trip down for the weekend. Enjoyed the south of England, which was absolutely freezing, may I add. But team came out as we were heading towards the ground after we stopped off. 7 changes made. What did you make of the team that Michael Carrick had announced for the game?
Team-wise, I'd have played Engel over Borges myself personally, and it was one of them where you don't know how fit Morris is. It was nice seeing him back on the bench, nice to see him come back on. I think, look, I'm not a huge fan of Barlasser, but Hackney's been just as bad as well. So on the whole, maybe his hands were tied in certain aspects, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But the only change I would have made if Morris is not fully fit would have been Engel for Borges.
Okay, so obviously a lot of discussion's been happening about Borges, about Engel. Dally's made his feelings very clear with a lovely song. What's made you pick Engel over Borges before I ask Dally's opinion on this?
I think they're both bang average left backs, to be honest. I think we're struggling in that department, whoever we play. I just think I find Engel a little bit more defensively solid than Borges myself. And I think Engel is a confidence player. I think with a bit of an arm around the shoulder, I think he could be half decent. I think he's shown in some of the cup games last season against Villa that there is a player in there. It's just I think he's a massive confidence player. But yeah, I think they're very similar, but they would just be an Engel for me.
Okay, fair enough. All entitled to our opinions. He is right. They are both bang average. But Dally, I'll come to you. 7 changes made from the cup game, which we fully expected, to be honest. Some of the fringe players taken out for the first players coming in. Big one was obviously Latte starting. Obviously, all the rumours that had been starting. Me and John Don spoke about it last week. What did you make of the team that was announced?
I think Lath was really the name that jumped out. I think that was one you maybe looked for first. Was he still here? Was he, has he travelled? Are we getting a repeat of Cardiff? Where granted he did get himself down to south of Wales, but is he going to be in the squad? And he was. Just on the left backs there, lads. I think you're being kind at saying that they're average. I think they're hideous. I think I would agree that Engel out of the two is the better player. But even then, I'm pushing at that.
Oh, we've started strong.
Well, that's where teams target, isn't it? The target our left back, and we've played 2 players there this season, and they've both been targeted. Just because we've played Engel doesn't mean that they've suddenly gone for the right back. They've continued to pelt at the left back, and every club knows it. So we've got, and I think that's why McGree gets put over to the left. But that's probably a story for another day, to try and protect them. But yeah, I think they're terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned obviously. We'll go towards the right back before I ask about the left back situation. Rav starting at right back, no Dijksteel, Ayling on the bench. I mean, I'll start with you, Dally. Did you expect that? Did you expect Rav at right back? I don't think he's a right back myself. I really don't.
We've seen him at right back before, and we know he does a job there. If Ayling's not fully fit, there's that argument. If you're on the bench, you're fit enough, but he's coming back from an injury, similar to Morris. You don't really want to throw him in if he's not fully fit. I think I like Rav. I think Rav's good. I think I'm quite comfortable. I think I'd put Rav in goal. I think I'm not comfortable with him. Do you know what I mean? And I think he'd do a job. I think at right back, he's no worse than what we've got.
Yeah, you the same persuasion, Jay?
I think I agree with Dally. Obviously, Ayling's just come back. I think Rav was awful on Saturday, but before Saturday's game, before kick-off, other time he's played at right back, he's been half decent. So in hindsight, it was probably not the right thing to do, but that was, it's easy to say that after the game when he's had a bad one. I think, come back to the left back thing, if you don't mind, I think the fact that we've got, we've seen bits of Bangura, we've seen a lot of games from Engel, we've seen a lot of games from Borges now, and the left back, whoever plays left back, Middlesbrough, has got the hardest job on the pitch, in my opinion, because of the system. Whoever plays on the left comes into midfield or comes into the centre. So as soon as we lose the ball, their winger is 1-on-1 every single time without fail. We can never keep it 2v1 ever. There's never in our favour, and I feel like it's the reason why we make them look so bad. And I'm not saying the great players, is because we leave them exposed a lot of the time. And when you're not getting the output like we did from Giles that season to counteract it, I think you're in a dangerous position.
I mean, funny enough there, you brought onto the guy I was going to mention there. You have mentioned him. Strong rumours now. He's going to be joining. I'll stay with you, Jay, before I ask Dally's opinion. What you make of Giles potentially coming back to the Boro? Would you be in favour of that?
I mean, it's hard to say no with the current left backs we've got, but does it solve the issue that we're having with left backs about them not being great defensively? No, because I don't think he's a very good defender. But if we then get another 10 assists out of him going forward and we suddenly start scoring more goals, yes. So within the current left backs we've got, I'd probably say yes if it's a sensible price or a loan deal. But really, I'd just like my full backs to just defend first. That would be nice, but that doesn't seem possible at the minute. So, yeah, we'll take Giles.
This is exactly why we brought him on. Dally, I'll come to you. Your opinion on Giles?
I think we've all had a bit of a love-in with Giles. I mean, I think, you look at that season, that him and Chuba Akpom linked up so well, and there was quite a bit made about Chuba Akpom studying how Giles plays, where he puts the ball. And did Akpom make Giles look a better player because he was always in the right? He knew where the ball was going to be. It was good, and when he didn't stay, but you could see the reasons why he didn't, because he went on to a Premier League club where obviously bigger wages. He's in the Premier League, but his fall from grace since he left. He was gone by Christmas by January at Luton. He's gone to Hull. There was rumours of him coming here. It always seems like he wanted to come here, but he ended up at Hull. And the clips I've seen of him, I've seen him live against the Boro twice, and I didn't think much of him, I'll be honest, defensively. And then you've seen the clips. Did they play in the cup? They played, was it Doncaster? Yeah. And so defensively, it worries me. But if we've got a striker, I'm sure Tommy Conway would love to be on the end of a Giles cross. And another striker, because let's be honest, I think obviously we'll come on a lot here. Is he going to be here? Is he not? It depends who the attackers are who can get onto the end of his crosses. So look, we've got some players going forward, but the frightening thing is the goals that we're leaking. I'm kind of on the fence with Giles, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, I've got to wait until he's back here. Like you said, I saw the goal he conceded against Doncaster, and Luke Molineux absolutely ruined him. And Luke Molineux is no better than League Two, League One standing. If that's that's what we're working with, then yeah, we've got problems with him defending. But I'll wait until he puts the shirt on and see what he does. But I'll wait to talk about Latif until after the game, because obviously we'll come to the game now. Because you mentioned him, Dally. He started, he played, and he made the impact straight away. It was quite a scruffy first part of the game. Obviously, we had the small delay because of the unfortunate incident with the fan in the stands. But the game got going. It was scrappy beginnings, but he made the difference straight away. The speed, he caught them on the back foot, got around the keeper. It was a great little tidy finish right in front of that away end.
Yeah, and if he's going to go, I really like Tommy Conway, but obviously he's injured at the minute, and that's the frightening thing. Mm-hmm. Force, we haven't seen a lot of Force because he's been injured. Bergzorg, I don't think you can hang your hat on him being your out and out striker. Latif just gives us something so different in what we've had for a striker. The pace is electric in that league. Especially for that league and defenders that he runs at. I've seen him do a job at right back, left back. He's all over the pitch, and I think if we lose him, I think he will be a massive loss. Not just the goals, but the work rate he puts in. Around the team. I think there was a chance. It wasn't the Cardiff game. Was it the Burnley game? Maybe where he's lost it on the edge of their box, and then he's ended up putting that last ditch tackling. He's chased it all the way back for a last ditch tackling when the players ran past two or three of our defenders. So I think it'd be a huge loss, if I'm honest with you. Without a replacement, we must get a replacement in.
No, absolutely fine. Jacob, I'll come to you as well. We saw the goal go in. We saw the celebration. It didn't look like, this is my kind of last goal. He was delighted he scored. It was a great finish as well. Great bit of, I suppose, striker play, because he got round the defender really quickly, got the ball and nipped it past the keeper. But that's exactly what he's known for, isn't it? Playing on the last man's shoulder.
Yeah, I think he was probably the only one out the game who could that came off the pitch and said he did half decent. If we were trying to convince him to continue with the project, we didn't do a very good job. Because, to be honest, I felt quite bad for him. I think he was the only one who was closing anybody down. He was kind of isolated up front on his own all game. That Azaz didn't really get round him. Doak didn't have much joy. Bergzorg had a couple of shots, and that was about it. I think anything going forward looked like it was only through him. So I had to sympathise with him, to be honest.
Well, we spoke about that yesterday morning, didn't we? The fact that we all of a sudden started to go direct to him, long over the top. I know Portsmouth played quite a high line, which Andy from the PR forecast did say when he came on to us last week. He did say that happened, but still, Jay, that was not what we should be doing, is it? I know play the balls down the side kind of thing, but straight over the top, it's not exactly what we're known for, is it?
No, it was for all the criticism I've give Carrick, I think even in the games where we haven't won or we haven't got good result, we've played some kind of football. But Saturday was definitely the worst I think I've ever seen, footballing wise. I think there was I counted at least 10 or 12 times where we aimlessly just punted the ball in the air or just half swiped it, and it was just like, direct football is good, it can be effective, but there's got to be some logic to it. Just punting the ball forward and hoping for the best is obviously not the way forward. There wasn't even where we were, trying to spin it in behind or anything. It was literally just aimless punts up the pitch, and we found ourselves again to a bang average team like it was at Plymouth, where the teams down the bottom were penning us in our own half for 10, 15 minutes. We couldn't get out.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, there was a chance just after the first goal we should have scored. I felt if we'd have scored that second, we probably would have gone away and probably won the game quite comfortably. We didn't.
The Hackney chance.
Yes.
I think we need to talk about Hackney. I think, I'll be honest with you, if he wasn't from Redcar, he'd be getting more pelters than Barloser. Let's be honest, he's getting away. He's getting away with it because he was born in a TS postcode, and I think he's missed some big chances for us. He's missed chances where we can put games to bed. And you know, if you put Grant Ledbetter in them positions, yeah, and you think obviously that's the coach he's working with. Got to work on his finishing, but not just his finishing. I think there's so much of his game. He was linked with Premier League moves in the summer, and I don't know whether it's gone to his head. But I've watched some of his performances. I mean, you look at the first goal that we conceded at the weekend.
Yeah.
You can blame the defence, but if you watch that goal back, Hackney looks at the man on the ball, checks over his left shoulder, watches Matt Ritchie running into a gap, then pretends he hasn't seen it, turns around, and the ball goes straight over his head into Matt Ritchie in the gap, around the goalkeeper and scores.
Yeah. No, there was. To be fair, I could probably pick some out. I think it was about 10 minutes before that. The ball came down to the corner flag, and you saw Hackney running towards it, and you saw that. I can't remember which Portsmouth player it was ran towards it. He backed off. If you're backing off going into a 50-50, you've absolutely lost my vote there. You should never ever back off. You should be going full tilt to try and get that ball back, and he just seemed to back away and back off. You know, people might look at that and say, well, that's a bit harsh. I was stood there, I watched it, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. You don't do that as a ball-winning midfielder, because that's his job. You know, he's known for that. You know, he was doing the job of Aidan Morris on Saturday before he came on. He shouldn't be doing that. And to then do what he did for the goal, watch the player just bypass him. I mean, but you can't just ignore the defenders on Saturday. I couldn't believe how still we were stood. I mean, Jay, we were stood there. I was in absolute disbelief. People were looking at the keeper, but I just thought, look at the three in front of him, the right back, the two centre backs. I mean, you can say the left back because you watch Matt Ritchie run straight across him, but it was the best I've seen of statues, if I could be quite blunt about it.
Yeah, it was the ball at the net, and you think, surely they haven't conceded a goal where not one of them have put any pressure on. Nobody's attempted to chase the man. And Matt Ritchie, I mean, he must be about 43. But he was always going to score. He was always going to score.
As soon as he got the ball, I was hopefully looking towards the flag, playing, please, just Liza, put your flag up. But it never happened, and the goal went in, and I felt Jay, we didn't come back after that. I felt like we were stuck. I felt like it was one of them games where you don't want to be dragged down to their level without being disrespectful. And Portsmouth, it did exactly that. Played the game exactly how they wanted it, and it paid with the winner. I mean, the winner, unlucky on the keeper because it was deflected. I was right behind it. It was deflected in. But you're looking at the left back again, aren't you? It was absolutely criminal that side again.
Yeah, I mean, it was very poor. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I also think Azaz lost the ball as well.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
For the goal. And I mean, again, how Bergzog was much better than Azaz for me in the game. And we took Bergzog off just to move Azaz to the left to bring Gilbert on. And I'm just thinking, like, what a silly substitute again. You know, yeah. I noted down before we come on about substitutes, and I just, some of the substitutes we're making and the timings of them, it's either just the wrong substitute completely, or we're so reactive. You know, we almost wait till the game's over to then react to it. You know, how many times have we changed the shape in the middle of a game? Or have we been the ones to sub first, unless it's, apart from if it's an injury, we always seem to be reactive instead of proactive, no matter who we play. And I think the goal, again, to do with the defence, I don't like all. I always find myself coming back to Woodgate. You know, like when he was the manager, we couldn't defend. He's now back as the assistant manager, and we can't defend. No. You know, for me, we're at the point now where it's either the managers needs to change or we need another coaching, because we have got no game management whatsoever. You know, even when we're ahead in a game, do you ever see our goalkeeper get a yellow card for time wasting, like the other teams in the league? It's almost like we go, you know, we can't do that, lads. It's too nasty. You know, we've just got to play the game, keep playing total football for 90 minutes. You know, it's the championship. We don't do none of the dark arts of the game. And, you know, and every time, how many times we've been 1-0 up as well in games? And we, considering we're supposed to play a really nice brand of football, we seem to sit off and let teams come at us. And our worst part is defending. So we decide to defend first instead of getting another goal. I just find it all very confusing at the minute.
I think you're right. I think when we went one down, it's like, when they equalised, we just seemed to play it around at the back and play those passes. And there was must be about an hour in, 70 minutes in, and I think it was Fry gave the ball to George Edmondson in the left back corner, and he doesn't have the skill set to play his way out of it, and he tries to. We get caught out, and then we've got our backs against the wall again. But that was from our own position. You know, George Edmondson for me is, you know, he's going to win a header, and he's going to give it. Don't put him in the corner with a winger chasing him and the striker chasing him. Play. There's no one in that midfield looking for the ball. Like when things are going against us and we need to dig in. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think, you know, Azaz goes missing. You know, it's all right walloping Oxford and scoring, you know, a couple of goals, but when the going gets tough, I think he goes missing a little bit. But you're right, Jacob. There's no plan B. The in-game management, I've been saying this for a while, the in-game management just isn't there. Why are we having to be reactive with our substitutes? Yeah. With all the connect, it comes back for me. It comes back to when Carrick come in, because believe it or not, I really like Carrick. But when he came in, he didn't bring a coach with him. He didn't bring a coaching setup with him. And you give me another manager that's gone into a club, or a head coach that's gone into another club where they haven't took a backroom staff. If you think of, you know, Warnock, you know, he brought his backroom staff here. You think of Pulis, he had his backroom staff, Karanka, and we've given it to Carrick. But with all of his connections that he's had at Man United, we've not really tapped into any of them. Mike Phelan, we should have had him in months ago, and that would be, you know, personally, I'd have loved to see Mogga do a Terry Venables. You know, I think we're on a hiding to nothing, possibly tomorrow, because we're coming up against a coach who knows us better than any other manager in the league. Mm-hmm. So for me, he's got to bring, like you say, I think he's got to bring another coach in, because he just signed a 3-year deal, hasn't
he? Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And you mentioned there about coaches bringing in their own staff. I mean, you know, you mentioned there, you know, the guy that's coming to us tomorrow night, Tony Mowbray, takes Mark Venus everywhere with him, absolutely everywhere. And you know, we were at that night. Yeah, exactly. Does his shopping with him? You know what I mean? We were at that night with Mogga, and he said, didn't he? One of the best signings he ever made. Mark Venus made it. He didn't make it. Mark Venus went out and said, "Go sign him. He's the one to get." I mean, the name absolutely leaves my head, but you know, that's what an assistant manager does, and I just feel that Carrick hasn't got that behind him. I feel like he's got his mates with him. It's like one of us getting the job and just asking the rest of the 12 man lads, "Do you fancy a goal? You know, should we just go and do that?" You wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? You wouldn't do it. You want to get someone that's got a bit of experience behind him, and the most experience we've got, unfortunately, is Woodgate, and yeah, says it all, really.
Yeah, I think going back to Daly's thing on the where Edmondson was trapped in the corner and stuff. I've been saying to people for a little bit of time, you know, you look at Fraser Foster when he was in goal for Tottenham for a few weeks, and they're sticking to their way and asking players to do things they can't do, and I think that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, for all Carrick signings that we've made under him, the only kind of ball playing defender we've signed is Rav, and he's been injured for a while. You know, when you've got Matt Clark, even Lenihan, you know, Fry, Edmondson, the proper championship centre-backs, they'll head and kick it, they'll do you a job when you ask them to do things they can do. But you tell them to play out from, you know, to a half spin on the ball or half turn on the ball and play the way out every single time, it's not going to work. You play at the strengths, especially away from home. Don't give anything away, especially against those teams down the bottom, because they're fighting for their lives. And sometimes we're just playing into the hands. They played a high line, they pressed us high up the pitch. Can we try something different, or do we have another plan? And I think the answer is no, sadly. So I just sometimes feel like even Glover, you could tell he didn't even want to kick. I mean, his kicking was pretty poor, Glover, but you could tell he didn't want to play out from the back at any stage. But sadly, I think in the back of his mind, he's thinking of that. Well, I'm kind of being told I need to do it, so the odd time I'm going to try and do it. But then 9 times out of 10, he just kicked it in the air anyway. So for me, you may as well either choose. If it's on, yes, you can play, but let's just get up the pitch, especially when we're having a 10 minutes where we're pending our own half, to decide to now just playing our half again. It's just, to me, it's football suicide at times.
No, I can't disagree with you. I really can't. I mean, a few people have popped in the comments as we've been going on, as we've been discussing. We don't have a plan B. There's no plan B about us. Like if something goes really, really wrong, our mantra is to swap it as it is. And the substitution that really killed me on Saturday, that made me think, right, I'm going now. Like Luke Ayling at 89 minutes.
I think Luke Ayling coming on. People saying there's no leaders. I like Luke Ayling, and I think he's the only one with the dark arts in the club. And I think, is he looking to try and put someone on who's going to actually put a tackle in? Because it was non-existent. But again, Jacob touched on the questionable substitutions. Yeah. You could literally just do they just turn around and say, go on, get yourself on. I don't know. I think one thing I just want to bring back, Steve, we don't mind from the comments. Please. We've had 3 or 4 people asking pretty much the same question. Is Hackney captain material?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, and I think it's personally, I think it's the whole TS postcode that he was born in.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's like he's been given it because he sort of understands the fan base, and I fully get that because he is a Boro fan, he's a Boro lad. I get that, but I just he's not a captain for me. If he's not, if I'd be taking that straight off from him, I'd be giving it. If you want to give it anybody that's based in Teesside that's on that pitch, you give it a Dale Fry. You give it a Dale Fry and go, there you are, kids. He's worn it before. We all went to Bristol City and watched him wear it. He did a good job. He's the one. He's been in the club for years. He went through a playoff spell with us. He's the one that stood up when Ben Gibson wilted at Villa Park. He stood up and it was recounted.
I think he's our longest serving player at Dale Fry, isn't he? Surely.
Yeah, he is.
Surely he's a leader in the dressing room, and he gets it more than anyone. He's been here through the likes of Karanka, Pulis. He's seen a handful of managers, and he's remained here. I think for me, you've got to look at him. Don't get me wrong, I love Johnny Howson, but clearly injuries are catching up with him. There's been times catching up with him. Players are getting younger, fitter, quicker. We'd love him to play forever, but naturally he isn't. Then you look, obviously, he gives it to Ayling, and I can see an argument for giving it to Ayling with the experience he's got. But if neither of those are fit, I'm going Dale Fry.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I say he's the one that I'm picking. I say, yeah, I struggle with Hayden Hackney as captain. I really do. It's not the one I'm picking. He's not the one that stands out for me and goes, captain's armband for you, mate. I can't. Yeah, it just showed on Saturday because when we went 2-1 down, especially the time of the goal, you needed someone to stand up and say, right, come on, up, pick yourself up, let's go again. But he never did that, and it was really disappointing. So, yeah, it's really, really disappointing. Before I ask you your man of the matches, I say, and then we'll move on to West Brom tomorrow night. New name got linked to us today. With you mentioning Dally about Latilaf more likely being let go this week. It's coming. We know it's coming. I've mentioned him, so I'm going to absolutely beat my chest on this one. Morgan Whittaker got mentioned today because he's asked Plymouth supposedly that he wants to go. Would you take him? Would you take Morgan Whittaker?
Honestly, I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen much of him at all. I haven't watched much of Plymouth, so I can't really say yes, no, or maybe. So I'm going to leave this one to Jacob because I know he'll know a bit more than me.
Yeah, I think he's a good player. I actually don't know if he's our main priority. To be honest, I think for me the priorities are probably another goalkeeper, possibly another left back, but hopefully a good one. Possibly a centre half, and I think the biggest issue is midfield for me at the minute. I think if Howson's going to be out a little bit longer, can we get a kind of an old school midfielder even on loan somewhere, or if we can buy them for a reasonable price, can we just get someone that literally just sits in front of the defence, is happy to just play it sideways and let the other one next to him do the rest? Because we need someone that's just happy to sit and defend. But Whittaker, he's a good player, but again, when I've watched him for Plymouth, he doesn't track much. He can be quite lazy. So, I'm not 100% like, yes, let's get him, but there's definitely quality there.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there midfielder. We have, by all accounts, gone in for Glenn Kamara, haven't we? Is it Glenn Kamara? Is that the right one?
Yeah, and that's someone like that is your prime example of he's just happy to do his job and nothing else.
Yeah, so there's opportunities there. I think there's a lot of movement. I'd say the goalkeeper situation looks to be moving as well. Looks like Mark Travers could be the one coming in between the sticks for the rest of the season. So I'm a big fan of that.
Do you think that means Dieng's off?
Possibly.
There was whispers of him going back to London, wasn't there? But obviously Tottenham were mentioned, but they've recently signed a goalkeeper.
Yeah, if you've watched him, he's a Czech version of Tom Glover. He looks the absolute spitting dabs of the lad. So, but no. Before I move on, it's completely up to yourselves. I'll ask you, Jake, I'll start with you. Man of the match for Saturday.
I'll give it to Latte. He scored, and he did much better than the rest of them. I mean, really, nobody deserves it, but we'll give it to Latte.
Yeah.
I don't think you give it to anyone. I thought they were abysmal.
Yeah. If anybody's going to give it a Latte, that, but I walked out absolutely disgusted on Saturday. I was absolutely fuming. So yeah. So we move on from that. We move on to West Brom. Kindly being joined by Jonny Drury from the Express and Star. He's going to give us the take on the opposition. Evening, Johnny. You all right?
Yeah, very good, very good. Yourselves, thank you very much for having me.
No problem. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're doing good. Sorry about your wait there. Obviously, we're just digesting what happened on Saturday. We can't really put into words. We give it a good go, but wasn't great.
That means you can have a really good response tomorrow and probably wipe the floor with Albion, which is
fingers crossed. I mean,
is not what I'm hoping for.
I mean, I hope so. But we'll speak a little bit about West Brom, the team themselves, in a minute. Obviously, we're gonna, the question that's coming. The guy you've just appointed as manager. His second spell at the club. We love him. Obviously, he's one of my heroes, Tony Mowbray. It's so good to see him back in football. He looks like he was massively well received as well in the job. Was it a surprise when he came back, or was he always going to be one of the front runners that got the job?
When sort of Carlos Corberán went before Christmas, the first name on sort of my lips was Tony Mowbray. I cover the club, but I've been a fan, and his side that won the title was arguably the best sort of period I've seen with Albion. So I know he did an interview with the Middlesbrough media or BBC radio up in Middlesbrough in November, and he indicated he wanted to get back in January, and kind of that's where my head went straight away, thinking, if he's fit, can we get him in? And then he never really seemed like he was sort of in the running, and then he kind of did, and then he was given the all clear, and he came in, and it's just been so well received by the fans. We've been at his, actually not long got back from his unveiling today, his press conference, and it seems that from very early on he was what the owners kind of wanted. Really, they were waiting for his is all clear after his battle with cancer. And once all that happened, it kind of the stars aligned really, because I think Albion had gone in a different direction for a foreign coach, and that fell through, and it was just all set up for Mowbray to come back. So yeah, just I think collectively the fan base is delighted, and I think the Riverside tomorrow night is going to be a bit of a battle between who loves Tony Mowbray the most, the Middlesbrough fans or the Albion fans. I think it's going to be a special evening.
No, you're absolutely right. It's I mean, we'll give them all the praise before the game. Them 90 minutes. We're pure focused. We've got a job to do. But I mean, we went. I mean, a few of the lads, we all went to a talk he did up here back before Christmas. And he spoke then. He was so passionate about the game. Still, he was still just on the end of his recovery of what he's obviously been going through with his illness. But you could just tell by the way he was talking, he was ready to come back into the management. And I think, without him coming back home, the West Brom job was probably perfect for him. But I've seen his coaching staff that he unveiled today. A lot of his older midfield lot in there. Obviously, Mark Venus is his right-hand man. He's always going to have him there with him. Obviously, Damir Bella is in there, former Boro right back. James Morrison, Chris Brunt. It looks a pretty strong coaching staff, and one that he's very familiar with, and it looks like they've got the business straight away with the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Boaz Marlin, Chris Brunt, and Damir Abella were all part of the interim team that carried on. Brunt and Mile obviously been at the club, and Brunt certainly a legend at the club. And Abella's the key one. Obviously, had that short spell, didn't he? Playing days at Boro. Was part of Carlos Corberán's staff. Decided not to go to Valencia with him, and has stayed in England. And he's kind of been the the brains behind the operation really in the last few weeks. He's highly well regarded. And I think when Mowbray goes into most places, obviously you've said there, he takes Mark Venus anywhere he goes, but he kind of inherits staff as well. And he's inherited some decent staff there, and very familiar coaches out there. And brought James Morrison, obviously someone with links to both clubs, has stepped up again from the academy to become first team coach. So yeah, pretty strong unit really. But obviously Mowbray and Venus, the head of it, are vastly experienced and just such good. Well, Mowbray's such a good manager at this level that there's a lot of excitement around Albion at the moment. Yeah,
I can imagine. You're absolutely right. He's done it at this level, especially with West Brom. Took him to a playoff final, took him up for winning the league. He's a club legend in himself. Move on to West Brom themselves. They've just jumped us into sixth in the playoff run. They're massively in the race as we are. Talk to us about West Brom's season. We went there in November and got a 1-0 win. Hackney got the winner. Funnily enough, he hasn't done much since. But anyhow, talk to me about West Brom's season. I know the home form wasn't being spectacular. But they've always been there or thereabouts, haven't they?
Yeah, always in games. Started like a house on fire, really. Won 5 out of 6 when no one really expected them to do much. Did some good late business in the window. Spent £3 million on Mikey Johnston, and then I think the Albion fans were getting excited and thought they were going to win the league after 6 games. But it kind of tailed off a bit. A few injuries. Went on that really, really weird run of like 11 draws in 12. Just couldn't turn draws into wins. Haven't lost an awful lot of games, but it's been. I think the fans were starting to become a little bit tired of kind of Corberán being a pragmatic manager and a little bit defensive. Can't knock the job he's done, but it kind of felt they were holding him back a little bit. And that's what I think is going to change under Mowbray. He's talked today a lot about taking the leash off his players and talked a lot about the creative flair players that Albion have got. But what's come before, it's been a lot of draws, a few boring games as well, but always picking up points. They went a long time without losing a game, a long time without winning a game at the same time. And that's what's kept them in and around the hunt for the top 6, really. They've had an okay Christmas and, a few more draws after Christmas, which is not what we wanted to see. But, they're thereabouts, and I think hopefully Mowbray's going to be the one to kind of take them to the next level a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Mowbray is known for, taking the leash off the players, giving them a bit of freedom. Do you think that's what held Carlos Corberán a little bit back? I know he's quite set in his ways about his formation, and he's set in his ways about the way he plays. I think that's why, wrongly or rightfully, that's why Valencia got him in. He's that structural kind of person that'll give him a bit of sustainability. Is that what held West Brom back a little bit before Mowbray came in?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think like I said, they won 5 out of 6 games. They were very, very clinical. And I think when you're clinical and you're quite regimented, you defensively set up well, which they were, they're superb at the back. You kind of need to take them chances on the break, or when they come along. When you don't take them chances, you draw in games, or you might even lose games. And I think that's what happened. They kind of lost a bit of their clinical edge. And when you're doing that, you're drawing 1-1 or you're drawing 0-0, and you're not turning them games into wins. And I think we said a few months ago, West Brom didn't look like losing games, but at times they didn't look like winning them either. And that's kind of the difference. We have seen maybe over Christmas a little bit more expansively under the interim management team. And then, like you said, Mowbray's known for his attacking sides, and hopefully that's going to all gel together and click now for Albion.
Yeah, because he's got the coaching staff behind him to do it. You know, Chris Brunt's got that forward thinking about him. James Morrison definitely has. We know him, you know, coming through in Middlesbrough. I know Brunt was at Boro briefly, but you know, we know Jimmy Morrison more than most clubs do. You know, they've got something about them to push the players forward. Is there any players that you'd be thinking we should be looking out as you know, for Middlesbrough? You know, is there someone that's going to stick out and cause us problems more than others?
I think the wingers, definitely the wingers, Mikey Johnson, Tom Fellows is. I think there's only the guy at Barcelona, the wonder kid, who's got more assists than him in the whole of Europe at the moment. I know he's ahead at the top of the championship assist table, and he's had a really good season. Had a bit of an off day on Saturday, but he's just so direct and creative and gets so many crosses in the box. And then Mikey Johnson on the other wing has been a little bit indifferent since they paid quite a bit of money for him from Celtic. Had a great loan spell last season. But I think Mowbray's we saw a little bit of it on Saturday. He was very, very dangerous. And the other one is Grady Diangana, who's been very off colour, but came in Saturday, was tremendous, has already spoke very highly of Tony Mowbray. And Tony Mowbray today spoke very highly of Diangana as well. He's the type of player that Mowbray kind of likes. And I imagine he will start tomorrow night. And if Albion are going to do well creatively, he's probably going to be at the head of it, especially due to the fact they haven't really got sent forward at the moment, which is a little bit of a difficulty. He was playing as a kind of second striker on Saturday. So I imagine he's going to be, probably the danger man for Boro to watch out for tomorrow night.
Yeah, we've seen him a few times, Grady Diangana. He is a problem. I will fully admit that. And Mowbray always finds a number 10 that, you know, can cause them problems. He did exactly the same with Morrison, made him into a number 10 before he pushed him out to the right. And he caused the problems with the team that was going up through the leagues. And come back to us, you know, is the players, you know, obviously you'll be doing your match previews, etc. for the Express and Star. Is the players that are standing out for Middlesbrough, you think, you know, Boro, you know, they're lucky to have them, or, you know, West Brom are going to keep an eye on them? I imagine there's a couple that I've got in my head, but I'll let you take the reins.
I don't really know, really. I think it's always a cliche that manager said, tough place to go, but it kind of is. Our record at the Riverside's pretty poor over recent years. I know mine is doing games. I made the long trip twice, or 3 times, and I've seen us lose every time. But I think just collectively, Michael Carrick sets his teams up well. They've always got a threat. We saw that when they come to the Hawthorns. That's probably the best team I've seen at the Hawthorns this season, and that display. You've always just got to be at it when you go to Middlesbrough. We've been there under Steve Bruce, and we went there under Carlos Corberán last year, and we were utterly dreadful. We just didn't look like we got off the bus. So it's just a place where you don't have to keep an eye out for individual players. You just have to be on your game, because if you're not, you know, I always find Middlesbrough a strong team at home. And if you're not on your game, then you're not coming away with anything. No,
I mean, you mentioned there you watched you get beat 3 times at the Riverside. Are you going tomorrow?
I will be there, yes. I'll be making the trip up tomorrow. Hopefully going back with the
points. That's our only glimmer of hope.
I know, yeah, that's a good omen for you. Good omen for you.
So what kind of Middlesbrough are you expecting? Obviously, you know there wasn't many players specifically you was picking out. Obviously, you mentioned about the structured and well-drilled team that visited the Hawthorns a couple of months ago. You're absolutely right. It's probably one of our best performances of the season. We were so well organised, and we took our chance when it came, and we did ride our luck a little bit. But you've got to in them sort of situations. Are you expecting the same sort of Middlesbrough again tomorrow night?
I would say so. I haven't seen an awful lot of Middlesbrough. I think was it the kid Hackney who scored? Did he score last time we were at Albion? Yeah. That name rings a bell. I remember him having a really good game. You've got I always like Azaz. Always obviously came through at our place, and he was one we sort of had a ruck of youngsters pinched off us by Villa when he was 16, and Azaz was one of those. And he's a presence. You know, he's a ball carrier. he always looks dangerous when I see him playing. Obviously, you mentioned the guy up front who's been linked with the move away. Is it Ben Doak, the Liverpool loanee? Like, there's a lot of talk around him at the moment, isn't there? They're just flair players, aren't they? They're players that, maybe you don't know what they're going to do, or they've always got that little bit of creativity in them that they can hurt you on their day. So that's kind of what I was meaning before in terms of, when you've got 3 or 4 of these players, like Albion have, Albion have, and that Middlesbrough got to be wary. You've got to be on your game, because if you're not, these are players that can punish you, certainly in the Championship.
No, you're absolutely right. Before I let you go, Johnny, what we do with the 12 man, we do put charity bets on. I wouldn't say we've been massively successful this year. We made a bit of money.
Sounds like my betting record, that does.
Well, that's mine. But we do like when we get our guests on, we do like them to try and give us something that we can put on with the ones we're going to put on. So if I could kindly ask you for a score prediction and an anytime goal scorer, if you can.
Oh, that's tough. I might get hounded out if I go for an Albion win, mightn't I? And I don't want to go for a draw because I don't want to see another draw.
I wouldn't worry, Johnny, because there'll be 4 of us going for an Albion win after.
I'll go for 2-1, and anytime goal scorer, I'll go for Carlin Grant.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Carlin Grant, actually, when you were talking about the players that were
he's coming in under the radar. Come back in. Fully expect him to go back out on loan again. Very out of favour, and credit to Carlos Corberán, got the very, very best out of him and scoring goals and just a completely different player. So he's, like you said, another one in their armoury that is, can certainly cause problems. We certainly cause problems for teams this season anyway. And hopefully he does it tomorrow night and helps out on the charity bet.
Well, selfishly, I hope it doesn't. But charity-wise, I hope it does. But no, you're absolutely right. Johnny, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining us.
Very welcome.
Really appreciate your views, and have a safe trip to the Riverside, and don't enjoy the 90 minutes.
No worries. Thanks for your time, gents. Take care.
Cheers.
There you go. That was Jonny Drury from the Express and Star. He's he'll be there at the Riverside doing his little bits and bobs tomorrow night. For his article and stuff. I'm not being funny, Dally, but that didn't really give me a lot of confidence about what's going to happen tomorrow night.
Did you have any confidence before it? Because I'll be honest, at the way we are at the minute, I just don't have any confidence at the moment. And
no,
Saturday
drained it out of me.
I think you throw into the mix as well. Mogger coming back, he's got an excellent record against us.
What do you think?
Really,
he'll probably get tomorrow because he will get a right crack of reception.
Of course he will. Yeah, he'll get a really good reception tomorrow. I think that goes without saying.
He's probably the only manager I've ever seen get a good reception that was in the Sunderland dugout, which says everything really.
He was there when we done him 4, so I think. That still lives in people's memories, but I think like you say, there's no question he'll get a good reception.
Yeah, definitely. So you've heard what he said there, Jacob. What kind of night are you expecting tomorrow night? Are you fearing the worst? Are you thinking this is a bit too far? There's a bit too much quality coming from West Brom tomorrow night.
I think our team's pretty good. I think our squad's good. I think hopefully Morris has got to play. If he's even half fit, he should be in the starting 11. But he said about the Riverside being a tough place to come to. I mean, I don't agree. I think it's possibly we're so weak at home. I think it were 4 wins in the last 16 now at home. I mean, just even reading that 4 wins in the last 16 at home is. For a team that's trying to be up at the top of the league, I mean, it's awful. We've got 7 points in the last 7 games, and four of them games are against the current bottom 5, and we've managed 7 points out the last 7 games. So we're really not in a good place at the minute. But
I was all right till you gave those stats, Jacob. I need this Samaritan's number or something now. Jesus Christ!
But in isolation, our team should rival West Brom. There's no reason it shouldn't. I think if we aren't at least giving West Brom a good game, we're not getting the best out of what we've got. No,
you're absolutely right. The only thing I can take out of all this, Dally, is yes, we're not in the greatest spot at the moment. The form's not there. where we think it should be. But we're still in the fight, aren't we? You know, we're only out of the playoff spots on goal difference, so we're still there or thereabout.
I think it shows what a bad league it is, really. I think, really we should be on that. Those stats that Jacob's just read out there should be nowhere near it. But it's a crazy league because say you get 2 good results, you're right back in the mix. And there's been so many times that we pulled 2 or 3 good results, right back in the mix, and then you start pulling points on teams, and then we just decide to drop off. We just drop off a cliff. So I think it's a big fortnight. I think leading up. Is there a fortnight left of the transfer window? I think it's such a crucial time. We've got to get it right, and we've got to turn this run round and really make a push.
Yeah, I mean, you say about 2 weeks left the window. 2 weeks, who turns up to the Riverside, don't you? So yeah, I don't want to be going into that game in worse form than we are, because that could be. I don't think I could cope with that. I really don't think I could cope with that at the Riverside. But you've got to live with a bit of hope, haven't you? So I'll start with you, Jacob. Someone's already pointed out you can't bet because you're 17. I'm not asking him to put a bet on. I'm asking him to give his score prediction and anytime goal scorer if you can.
I will go with 1-0 to West Brom, sadly, and I think Alex Moore will score.
Alex Moore, wow, okay. 1-0 West Brom. I'm so glad I've asked you to come on. Dally, come to you.
I have to go 1-1.
He loves the 1-1.
Just for all time's sake, 1-1, and I will say that Hackney will score. There you go. We've slated him. Yeah, and he'll point at his captain's armband. There you go.
He'll point at us and go, "You seen that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we do see that. I'm going to match you 1-1. Because I'll ask a question about if we get a point or not. 1-1. I think Latif will score again. Because to be quite honest, I think this is probably the last you might see him at Riverside tomorrow, which would be sad, I know. But if we do get a point tomorrow, is a point enough?
I'd probably take 1 based on the way we've been playing. I think the biggest thing for me is seeing a performance again that looks like something we've seen possibly in the past. I think the last the last 10 games, our performances have just seemed to get gradually worse. So I think that there needs to be, yes, results aren't going our way, so again they're really important, but we just need to see a response. I want to see some fight, chasing the ball. We've seen to stop pressing teams. We need to get up the pitch, get at them, and press them early doors. And we need a proper home performance where we've got to dig in. I could probably count on one hand how many duels we won on Saturday, first contacts. We've got to be much better in that department, because one thing West Brom are good at is they're in every single match and they always compete. So if we don't do the hard part of the game, I think we'll find ourselves in a bit of bother, to be honest.
I can't disagree with him, Dally, can you?
I think you're right, mate. We just need to see something. We just need to see a bit of passion. We just need to see the team pull together and give the crowd something to shout about and back them. Let's just see how we get on.
Let's see how we get on.
I'll tell you one thing. It's strange because they've united the fan base, because everyone's saying the same thing.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. There seems to be a common theme, doesn't there, at the moment? So it's absolutely right. But one thing I'll mention before we do go, obviously we started with the sad news about the Portsmouth fan who lost his life. There is a GoFundMe page going about now to try and raise some funds for his family. Obviously, it's a bit of a sudden death, and I've got personal experience. I know the how much it can cost to lay your loved ones to rest. It's not the easiest one to budget and put money together for. And I think they've raised quite a bit of money already. But if you do a search on the socials, you'll find some way. If you're able to donate, if you possibly can, then feel free to do so. But I forgot to mention, didn't I? Yellow card. We did get the yellow card on Saturday because I had George Edmondson, as you do. And I'm probably going to back, if he starts, Aidan Morris. If he doesn't, Neto Borges. So try and get some more money in the coffers for the charity. For the charity, we are over 50 quid now, so we're getting there. We are getting there. But I'll leave it there for this week. Jacob, thank you so much for popping on. We'll have you on again very soon, I'm sure. You were screamed for to get back on, so it was the easy option for me as well. So I appreciate you for coming on, my man. Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks.
No problem.
Cheers,
and Gally, thank you very much. Let's hope we have a good night tomorrow night, and we have something to shout about, and a bit of confidence, a bit of belief in the stands. That'd be exactly what we need. But people, thank you for watching, liking, subscribing. You seem to have had a right good time for yourselves in the comments on Facebook, so I've let you crack on. Hopefully this time next week we'll have 2 wins to talk about, a bit of confidence, and our number 9 is still here. So arrivederci, up the Boro, be seeing you. Take care.